What's your big question, Brownie?
Well, driving away last night, who was I more impressed with, Essendon or Carlton? Now, Carlton had a great win. I think if you had picked the two grand finalists now, I'd definitely say Sydney, probably Carlton, if I have to put another team on the line. But I actually drove away and I thought, probably more impressed with Essendon,
really?
The way they're tracking. Yeah,
really?
And maybe I wouldn't have thought that early on, but the more I sort of thought about it, I thought they missed opportunities. They started the game very well, but just didn't take relatively straightforward shots, Bucks, which you'd expect to take, or at least to take half, and they didn't kick any of them. And at the same time, Carlton were able to go up the other end and execute and get that right. So they just weren't able to do that early, and I thought it'd start off on the back foot. And then they weren't able to cash in, really, on the amount of territory they had, Bucks.
It's a familiar refrain, isn't it? Like the last 5 weeks, they've been smashed at clearance differential, but they've been able to dominate territory. But they just haven't been able to score well enough to put the opposition to the sword, which they were doing better early in the year. But I get you, but Carlton's still pretty good.
Oh yeah, and this is not a knock on Carlton.
We'll get to the Blues in a minute.
By any
I am surprised you think Essendon.
No. I think they've definitely improved on last year.
The Bombers have.
The Bombers have definitely improved on last year. Look at their quarter three, +9 inside 50s. They had 12 forward-half turnovers for 3 goals, 6. They should have at least been even there at three-quarter time. They've got some key injuries, Draper, Redmond, Parrish, Dursman. Our Carlton supporters, I know you got key injuries as well. They're important players for the makeup of Essendon. So I actually think they're in reasonable good shape. And I thought Brad Scott, he didn't look too disappointed post-game. He's a pretty stoic sort of a fella.
What did you think of the matchups?
I thought they got the matchups wrong. The Essendon coaching staff, obviously they would have sold it to the group throughout the week. I just wanted Ridley being able to help both contests, and Mackay-Koning. He ends up playing on Koning, and they stuck with it, and at the end of the day, he did a pretty good job. But early on, Koning was able to set up the game, and Mackay had influence as well. And I didn't think then Ridley was able to influence the game at all. I thought Laverde should have been on him. Maybe Jay Kelly back on to Zach Williams.
Well, we did speak about during the game, but Brad Scott stuck with it.
Yep.
And by the end of it, I think Ridley beat Charlie Koning. So you can't say in the long term that matchup was wrong. But Koning did have a purple patch early in the game,
which
and he did set it up. Jake Kelly was the question mark for me. Playing a high forward role. Nick Martin went into that same role in the third quarter, had 10 touches, 4 shots on goal, and they were looking for someone else to play on Zach Williams. And maybe Jake Kelly on Zach Williams shores them up. Menzies gave him a bit of run of half-back. I thought that was something different.
Yeah, it was good. And I thought, look, Redmond probably threw them out. The loss of Redmond with the injury. But you like Ridley's he's the other Scots version of Tom Stewart. The other thing is the big forwards. You're going to play your 4 big forwards, Stringer, Langford, Jones and Wright. They've kicked 2 goals between the 4 of them.
They were horrid.
So Peter Wright's got to get himself back going, same as Harrison Jones. So you got 4 big boys down there. You probably got to at least have 6 goals out of those guys, Gaz. So that was a disappointing part of the night and part of the reason they weren't able to hit the scoreboard.
It's a good wrap for the Bombers, but I thought the Blues were really impressed with the way they went about it. So they're winning in different ways. They can win off turnover, they can win from clearance, and now they've got players that are putting their heads up and they're winning with different players. One of them was Elijah Hollands, who we're really impressed with. Interesting what Jacob Weitering had to say post-game.
We give him a lot of credit. I mean, we probably don't talk about it enough. He came in pretty, rough circumstances. He had to earn the trust of the group back, and he was head down, bum up from the very start. Everyone makes mistakes in life, and we've certainly tried to embrace him as an individual, and hopefully he feels that he's comfortable in his own skin and can, do his job in the navy blue, which he's doing so far.
Really like what he's done. They've obviously Jack Martin's had a role similar. They've missed him. Can't rely on him because of his body. When he plays, he's good. But I just love the way he went about it. He's smart. I think he's going to get better and better.
One of the best pickups of the year, no question about it. Probably the least talked about pickup of the year, the change clubs, but he's been fantastic nonetheless. He runs really well. Runs as well as his brother, I think, and he's a bit bigger than his brother, can go forward. And he looks like a player that relishes those big moments. Got a bit of swagger about him, I think, Gaz.
I think he has got a bit of swagger, and there's nothing wrong with that. Tommy DeCarning, not sure if he's got... I think he's probably got swagger. When you got Robbie Williams singing songs about you, you've probably got swagger, but he deserves it. He is coming fast with a bullet as one of the most influential ruckmen. What about this chase here, Bucks?
This is late in the third quarter, and Essendon are coming. They're 16 points down. They pretty much own the third quarter. DeConing there is worked back 80 metres on Goldstein, who was trying to work him forward the whole way. Didn't give up on it, and committed to getting that done. Gresham thought he was the one that was on, and he had 17 contested possessions. He was the highest possession getter for Carlton on the field.
Clearances?
And clearances to boot, and just his follow-up, like when you get a ruckman who's good in the air and can be strong in the air, but then follows up, knocks opposition midfielders off the ball for your own midfielders to come and win their fair share, he's going to be a beauty.
I would have loved to see Draper playing. Draper and him going head-to-head would be just fantastic to watch. Hopefully we see that in the finals.
Goldie's been in good nick, so it was a good effort. My question for the weekend, and it's not one with Harry hindsight because we've been banging on about this for years. Why is it taking so long to tag? It's back, and it was back over the weekend. It's just over the last month or so. It's come back into vogue. You know, we spoke about Neil Bullingun and Nick Dacos today. The Pies were, much better than just the one match-up, so they got away with the win and did it really well. But I thought Neil Bullen stuck to his task beautifully. I watched it all, watched it off the ball stuff. He wasn't going outside the boundaries. This one pushed the boundaries every now and then, which is okay. If that's a free kick, it's a free kick. But Windhager had an influence on the result. Duke Miller never gave up.
That'd be frustrating for Miller because Miller used to be Windhager.
That's right. Chincotta goes to Merritt. Merritt was still influential, and this was on Thursday night, which was a really big win. And then because Bontempelli's a generational player, goes forward and kicks 3 goals. So my question is, why has it taken so long? And with the next iteration of this is Tom Stewart. Where it probably started is that all of a sudden they, belatedly, years later, 5 All-Australians later, they won't let Tom Stewart play on his terms, and that is just to sit at half-back in a hole and be, arguably the most influential player on the ground. So now they go after him, now they come off him. Now Tom Stewart then has to be played more honestly and can't come off and help out in a marking contest. If he does, he's going to pay the ultimate price. All these things have come into play because the half-back flankers have had it their own way for so long, and now they're made to defend again, and it's really influencing the way Geelong are playing.
We've seen that with McEntee from Port Adelaide, did it a good effect, and O'Halloran for GWS goes, and those 2 wins down in the Cattery. So why haven't teams done it, Bucks?
It has happened, but it's going through a purple patch right now, there's no doubt.
And specifically this one, the half-forward tagger.
Well, yeah, we have seen it periodically, but halfbacks have become so dominant, haven't they? We talk playmaker, quarterback, if you want to use an American term, but those players that intercept so well. We saw Billy Frampton playing on Harris Andrews. We saw Jack Gunston this week playing on Sam Taylor. So we've talking about the cooler or the disruptor. That's a forward tagger, like what Jordan did there. We've seen tagging through the midfield periodically, and some of it's more effective than other times. One of the reasons why forwards might not be getting as many votes, forwards get tagged every week. You know that you've got a defender who plays on you.
Hallelujah.
Finally
a midfielder has admitted to it.
So Tom Stewart actually has to think about opponent before he goes to the ball. That's a luxury that he's had for the entirety of his career, or a midfielder sometimes has a luxury of. When that's taken away, especially when it doesn't happen as often, it gets you.